Welcome viewers, you're watching our continuous coverage of P20 Summit from Yashobhumi, and joining us right now is a very special guest, President of Australian Senate, Ms. Sue Lines. Ma'am, welcome to Sansad TV and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Ma'am, P20, that is the parliamentary track in this leading forum, the G20, has been added to give it a new dimension. How do you think that parliaments can come together and find solutions for global problems?
I think what the parliaments and what the presiding officers can do is hear new ideas and to speak freely with one another about the issues and challenges and the successes facing all of our parliaments and our countries. So it's a really good forum for presiding officers from across the G20 to come together.
So we've been discussing about the global best practices. We also have our focus on clean energy transition. We have focus on the Parliamentary Forum for Life, which is for sustainable environment. I'd like to know about your country. What are the best practices that one can emulate?
I think your LIFE project is really a really good and new innovation, and I spoke this morning on what India is doing, and I do strongly believe it is something that all of our parliaments can take back together, because there's no question that countries across the world are really paying serious attention to climate change and our emissions, and most countries have targets. But it's also about what citizens can do, because a lot of people I speak to are very worried about their own footprints and are always searching for ways to do things better and to make their homes and their lives more sustainable and to reduce their carbon footprint. So India is really leading the way in this regard, and with such a big population you can really make a difference. So I this morning in my intervention talked about some of the local community-led projects that we have that I'm aware of in my home state of Western Australia.
Wonderful, ma'am. And any specific lifestyle changes that you've made that our viewers must know?
Well, personally, I was a very early convert to an electric vehicle, and it's been terrific, very easy to use. There are a lot of places to charge my car, so electric vehicle I've done, and small changes at home, recycling, solar panels on the roof, making sure that we don't use plastics, all of the sorts of things that I've seen here in India. I'm being very impressed with some of the projects that I've seen where people are very conscious about their waste, even from small things like tea bags to drinking straws. All of those things make a difference if billions of people are doing it.
Absolutely, ma'am. Also, I'm very happy to note and inform our viewers that ma'am is the first President of Australian Senate from her party and the second woman President of Australian Senate. Ma'am, one of the themes, one of the sessions that would be organized during P20 Summit would focus on women-led development.
Yes.
Ma'am, how do we ensure greater gender parity?
I'm very pleased to see that India has adopted legislation now where seats will be reserved for women, and that's a very good move, because I always say to women, you can't be what you can't see. And so if we're missing from our parliaments, if we're missing from leadership positions such as mine as a presiding officers, we're not good role models. So even the fact that you and I are here,
yes,
that you're talking to me and I'm talking to you, is a good role model, that women see women on television talking about women's led development. But again this week, because I visited some projects here in India early in the week to see women-led change, and I've been really impressed with the way that young women in India are so confident, and to hear them speak about climate change and the need for education for girls. These are all such positive moves forward, and to see such amazing young women who've come from very poor backgrounds that I met the other day, who are part of the Milan Foundation, who are now doing masters and want to go on to do PhD. That's truly inspiring, that sort of change.
All right, let's talk about Australia-India relationship.
Yes.
We enjoy comprehensive strategic partnership. How do we further strengthen this bilateral relationship?
Well, we've got a free trade agreement that we're now trying to enhance to make real opportunities of what we can, how our trade can increase across both countries. And I was really heartened yesterday to meet with your Chamber of Commerce and to hear from Australian businesses led by people from India and Indian-led businesses doing business in Australia. And whilst we still have more work to do to make sure that businesses in both countries are aware of the free trade agreement and the sorts of benefits it will bring, it was really heartening to hear one particular business tell us that it had been life-changing for their business, the free trade agreement. Of course, our people-to-people links are very strong, and they go back hundreds of years, not just in recent times, but a long time ago. Indians are now the second largest tourist group that we have coming to Australia, and I know that many Australians come to India to look at your, wonderful attractions. And we have also significant numbers of students coming to study in Australia, and we welcome them, and we want to make sure that their experience is always positive and they're getting a real quality education. And the other area that's increasing is that Indians are now the second largest group in Australia taking out citizenship, so going that next step of becoming Australian citizens. So I think our people-to-people links, we have so much in common. We're democratic countries, although of course you are the largest democratic country in the world, and we share, our parliaments are very similar, and someone told us the other day that our humour is similar. So I think we really do want to strengthen at all levels, at trade, at people, at education. The list is endless.
And Madam, there's another important aspect, the bilateral trade. India is Australia's 7th largest trading partner. How do we further boost this bilateral trade?
The businesses I saw yesterday and I spoke to are very keen to get two-way trade happening. So if they are examples of all the businesses out there in India, because what India provides that Australia can't provide is scale. By any comparison, our country has a much smaller population, although a very large land mass. And so I think if we can get the word out there to strengthen those trade relationships and things that we can do together, such as solar technology, where Australia might provide a level of expertise, and India does as well. The scale is here to really look at solar and how we make it better and smarter and more available. And so I think working together will increase our trade.
Absolutely, and on that positive note, thank you so much for talking to us, and have a great stay in India.
Thank you very much. It's been so wonderful to date. Thank you.
Pleasure having you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Over to the studio now.